What is going on, my beautiful God created souls? I pray that everybody is staying prayed up and positive. Yes, 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 yes. I pray that all my beautiful chosen women and my chosen men are staying prayed up and positive. So, quick message of today is this. First of all, I hope that y'all are feeling good. Y'all are feeling well. Y'all are on that high frequency as you should be, because one thing about us chosen ones is that you're peaceful, you're positive, you really mean well, and you really do what you say you're going to do, and people found that out, but that's another video, child. So message of today is this. I'll be saying quick message and we be in here, child, for a whole 2 hours, but that's not going to happen on this video. So quick message of today is this, okay? So people are mad. They are mad that you chose you over them, okay? You realize you cannot save anybody. You realize you cannot change anybody for the better if they don't want to be changed, okay? And you have to leave people not only where they're at, but you have to have the attitude and the energy of standing on business, and you have to leave them like how they left you. Like how they left you for other family members or whoever they left you for while God was hiding your value, okay? Or they left you because, as God was hiding your value and you weren't the man and the woman that you are today. You didn't have what you had today, but that's because God was not working on the materialistic things. God was not working on the outside things because, amen, you always had that, okay? But God had to work on us a little bit more internally, okay, spiritually, to let us know the power that we hold and let us know the man and woman that we are through Christ, okay, the power that we actually exude, okay, the fact that we actually don't need anybody else, okay. Our enemies will be your footstool, and that's why people are doing what they are doing for you right now, but you don't need them. All you need is the Lord, okay. Everything is the Lord's doing. They actually need you. And once you realize that, maybe and the thing about it is, when I say we can't change people and we cannot save people, and I say this with love, okay? We say this with love, okay? People gave you no choice but to leave them, because the thing about it is, the minute that first of all, when we look around, when we're drained, okay, when people drain us, when these energy vampires and people who mean no well, people from your past that want to come back and they want to apologize and get in good with you, and they want to act like they believe in you, knowing good and well they don't believe in you. They just want a opportunity to get a boost off of your energy, okay? They're users. They're manipulators. It's the trick of the enemy. And, after time and time again, being tired of being sick and tired, feeling drained, we always go back to God, and it's not to use God. Don't ever feel like, you're using God. People say, you're using God, because yes, God does want us to lean on him more, which is what you are doing. God does want us to pray with him more, which we are doing. Amen. But a lot of times, when we go back, God also wants to show us, even though we go back, God still, he gives you that blessing once you leave that blessing blocker. God pours back into you once you see that no one is going to pour into you but you, and no one can pour into you and uplift you better than God. There is no better relationship than with God, right? We say to ourselves that we are nothing without the Lord. This is all the Lord's doing. This is all by the grace of God. This is nobody but God. Amen. But, when we have the issue is, we're pouring into people who don't pour into us. It's one thing if iron is sharpened iron. And the thing about it is, when you go back, you realize people haven't changed. Their mask comes off. And they're always trying to set you up for failure. They're always trying to set you up to set you back. They're always trying to, the trick of the enemy and people is always trying to find new plots and plans to not only work against you, but to try to destroy you, to try to minimize and decrease your frequency and your vibration and the way that you feel about yourself, all the way down to their low vibration, all the way down to their low frequency, all the way down to their level, trying to make you stoop down to the trick of the enemy is trying to make you stoop down to their level. And at some point, it worked. And that's when we become drained. That's when we realize, we're going back and forth with people who are committed to misunderstanding us. That's when we realize the minute we try to bring people along with us, knowing that they cannot go where God has taken us, and God has shown us the reason, blunt, blueprint, clear, okay? We can see clearly now that the wool over our eyes is gone. Not only we can see clearly because the rain is gone, the storm is gone, but we see, sometimes we see who put us in that storm. Sometimes we went back and we put ourselves in certain situations, but God knows our intent. We try to help and save people out of love, not knowing that, we can't. First of all, people are going through karma. Not only do people not want to change, and, God knows that, you forgave people, but you have to let them know, God had to let you know that, listen, yes, we forgive. God is proud of you. God blesses you more for forgiving, praying for your enemies and forgiving them for they know not what they do, and loving your enemies from a distance. But that does not mean that God forgot. That does not mean that people have to still dish in what they dished out. And they confirmed it, and they put that on themselves by not showing no remorse, by not apologizing. Whenever you try to help these people out, they try to pull you down, because in the midst of you trying to save people out of love, you feeling bad for people. And that's why, I rebuke, and we rebuke the spirit of survivors' remorse. We're not feeling bad for leaving leaving the same people that left us at a dead end, that left us at a dead end and laughed at us at being at that dead end and plotting and planned to destroy us, because they thought that you were at a dead end and you fell off and there was no turning back. There was no coming back. You were in that pit so deep, it seemed like life was getting to be so impossible. It felt like all the odds were against you. Because at times it may feel like evil is all the odds were against you. But how many know that as long as you have faith, and as long as you kept on pressing towards the mark, you kept on doing what was required, you kept on knowing that God would never leave or forsaken you, in the midst of you crying, in the midst of people disrespecting you, in the midst of people trying to pull you down from fulfilling your potential, from running quicker, from running from them towards your destiny. And not like you're running from people. You're not afraid of the devil, because, God did not put fear into you. But all the hard work, you see it paying off. You see why, we had to leave people behind. You see, they never meant any well. Whenever you try to, help these people, and we know we cannot change people. We know they cannot. Listen, where you're at right now, there's levels to this, right? There's levels to peace. Not only is there levels to prosperity, but there's levels to peace. There was levels before you started walking into your calling and walking into your assignment and walking into your purpose. Even though you are chosen and that was meant for you, but how many know it was not easy? But everything is possible through God. And that's why, it honestly became easier once we realized that all these battles were not our battles. Once we were able to see that it is the trick of the enemy in people. Amen. Once we were able to see that the bigger the blessing, the bigger the attack. Once we were able to see what was really going on here. Once you were able to see that people were just jealous of you, and the jealousy got worse. They were envious of you. They were coveting you. Whenever you tried to help them, you know, out of the kindness of your heart, knowing you should have been putting all that, we should have been putting all that energy, all that good energy, all of what God poured into us, for us, right? Only we eat at this table. You want to see them eat, but not at your table. And whenever you're at your own table, it's fulfilling. Whenever you leave these people behind and you don't feel bad for it, you find yourself going higher. You find yourself getting deeper and deeper into your calling. Amen. You find yourself motivated. You find yourself more aligned in your gift, and you find yourself just more aligned in your purpose, more aligned in what's for you. Amen. You're more aligned in your peace and your happiness. You have one-on-one, you're always praying. You're realizing, and they realize, and they knew, others are realizing, you are never the problem. You are always the peace. The grass is always greener with you, because the grass is going to always be green even when you're alone, because all you really need is the God. But when you try to save these people and pour into those, what God poured into us, unknowingly, innocently, out of love. But God had to teach us how to love from a distance, because we don't owe anybody anything. They want to manipulate you, and they want to, make it seem like people want to feel entitled to your blessings, and they want to feel entitled. They want to get mad because, God cut off that communication. But see, when you try to help people and be there for people, they always, your discernment always told you they're back secretly competing with you. They never stopped secretly competing with you. And that would just mess up everything. Because when someone is secretly competing with you, they're going to eventually start, you're not going to have a good time, because they're going to eventually start to project their insecurities onto you. Amen. They're going to start minimizing your success. And we all know, as chosen ones, there's levels to this. There's sacrificing for this. People are not willing to sacrifice what you sacrifice to show how much you love for God. That's number one. They want to laugh at you for losing it all. They want to laugh, but really you lost it all. Actually, you didn't lose it. Even though we know what God gives to us, God could take it away. But actually, we didn't lose it. We just chose God's side, because we realized, amen, that the devil is a liar. The devil is a deceiver. The devil will make it seem like, he's a liar. He's going to manipulate you into failure. He will send people in your life to make it seem like they're all for you. But once we used discernment, and once we prayed about things, and once we started paying attention to people and realized, they're two-faced, and they were wearing a mask, and they never meant well, and they were always jealous of you and envious of you since they met you. God says, look at where this is going. Okay, but guess what? You are not going to be destroyed. Amen. God said his purpose will be fulfilled. And no weapon that's formed against you shall form or prosper. It will not work. What do you want to do? We said, you know what? I'm choosing God. Because nothing, if it's not done through Christ, and we warn people about this too. I told people this too. Listen, you're getting everything back that the devil thought he stole from you. Not only your confidence, your peace of mind, your joy, your happiness, opportunities, blessings that are just overflowing in your life because God blesses you exceedingly and abundantly. Even your finances. God gave us a second, third chance at life. Amen. At opportunities. Sometimes God didn't deny that opportunity. He just delayed it because maybe we probably have told a wrong spirit bad news. You told a blessing blocker. And once you realize that, God gave it to you again. Because see, God is real. God is with you. You're getting these wins, well, you're getting these blessings and wins in silence. But don't think because you're not telling people, you ain't got to tell them. They see it. And they want to act funny. And God also showing you right now, that's also why they cannot go. God does not bless jealous people. And that's why us chosen ones are so highly not only anointed and favored, but highly blessed. That favor, you're going to always be okay. That's how powerful that favor is. No matter what circumstance, trial, obstacle, situation you may be in, that favor over your life, you're going to always be okay. You're going to always, God is going to always have a ram in the bush for you. That's a different kind of blessed. People realize that. And that's also why you couldn't be destroyed. On top of other extraocular blessings that we appreciate and we're grateful for. Amen. So, you cannot save people. When you try to save people and change people and you start pouring into people that never pour into you, you start slowly but surely decreasing and minimizing yourself, and you slowly start to, become the company you keep, because then they're going to start projecting their insecurities onto you. They're going to start getting jealous of how you can help them. They're going to start thinking that, you think you're all of that. It's usually a misunderstanding or a fallout, because here it is, you're helping somebody who it's a fallout because not only first of all, they have the spirit of confusion. They have nothing but chaotic and negative energy. And there's always a misunderstanding, because this is the same person who is committed to misunderstanding. They love to try to argue with you and bring out the worst in you and make you seem like you're not the chosen man and the chosen woman and the chosen king and queen that you are. And when you're to yourself, around other strangers, why is it like iron is always sharpening iron? Not that you need others' validation. Why is it always that, you're like, whenever you're not around this negative energy, you get more ideas, because you don't have people pulling you down, trying to confuse you and distract you from your purpose, because they're, not to be rude, y'all, but they not really, they haven't changed. I'm not saying people aren't capable of changing, but they haven't changed. And you're not slowing. You said, listen, you said, look, I'm choosing myself. You said you choosing yourself. Not only are you choosing peace over disrespect, but they're also mad because you decided to choose yourself and not wait and waste time with somebody who has not only proven to God and proven to others and proven to you and themselves that they don't plan on changing anytime soon. They don't believe they can change, or whatever the case may be. But you know what? You said, if what God can do for me, what God could do for you, God can do for them. But you know what? You said, look, faith without works is dead. There's levels. You have to sacrifice, because you know that if it's not done through Christ, it's not going to last at all. Anyways, they want to act like you lost this or you lost that, but you really didn't lose anything. You sacrificed it because guess what? You knew that God had something bigger and better for you. When they thought you fell off because that's because God had you not only purposely lose contact with certain people, and He even tested that. He tested people with. First people were slow. First of all, He took you physically from people because, God already knew He wanted to take you to higher places, take you where people were not only going to just not tolerate you and purposely not acknowledge you and distract you and try to pull you down any chance and second they get and try to, arrange events to set you up, to set you back. But He tested people before God told you to go no contact with certain people. He tested them to see how they would treat you with how they contacted you. Maybe you wasn't contacting them enough, or they wanted you to be a people pleaser. They let their hate and they're envious and their whatever kind of personal problem they had toward you. They let that get in between of you and them, not knowing that God was testing them. Because what God give, God could take it away. And at the end of the day, you were the blessing in people's lives. And that's why, okay, now there's no contact. Now people are really going to feel your absence. And sometimes we will go back. But now there's no more going back to saving people. We cannot save people. You have to save yourself. Because you know what? You know, when you were in that deep worldly sea, and when you were drowning, no one came to rescue you and save you. No one even came to pray for an SOS ship. No one came and gave you a lifeboat. And they had a boat full of lifeboats. They wanted to see you drown. They wanted to see you suffer, and they were laughing at you drowning. They were laughing at your pain. And not to say that we're laughing at their karma and we're laughing at their pain, but we're praying for them because God saved and rescued us, and we know that God can save and rescue them. They're going to be all right. Right? They were so jealous of you and coveting you. Oh, that chosen, brother or that chosen sister, she got this, he got this. They only, you had too much because they were looking on the outside and not looking on the inside. Just being evil. Just like right now. Instead of them trying to be secretly competing with you, instead of them trying to bring up your past, instead of them trying to not bring up your past and respect you and acknowledge the great change in you, acknowledge that you're actually living up to your potential that they always seen in you, they're not going to do that. They want you back to where you used to be. They want you back on their level and worse, because it makes them feel good, because they're not really going anywhere in life. They don't really have nothing to lose. They gave up on life. And you know what, my love, my chosen brothers and sisters, if that's how they want to feel, we cannot do anything to alter and change that, because that was slowing us down. That was draining us. And how they left us, unfortunately, we have to leave them. And we're leaving them with love. We're leaving them with love, and we're loving them from a distance, and we're moving on. I love you all so, 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 so much. Stay prayed up and positive. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.